There we go. I think we're going. Welcome to TMI live number 14, if in fact we are live, and I think we are, so it's happening. This is usually a YouTube broadcast, but as I explained before, they changed their terms, so now if you want to do a live broadcast on mobile, you need 1,000 subscribers to your YouTube channel, and the McLuhan Institute now has 132, which is an improvement over the 82 this time last week. So 50 people have signed up, which is great, and thank you for that. But a long way to go if I want to keep doing the YouTube thing. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I wish I could say I had something really exciting lined up for you tonight, but nothing in particular, except to say, as I alluded to in an earlier Facebook post, I'm making a bit of progress with this inventory, and it is in the foreseeable future that I will get to our McLuhan shelves, which is quite a large collection of just about everything Marshall ever put into print. Everything from his early literary criticism to books he authored and co-authored. So I'm really looking forward to that and sharing it with you. A word of explanation on what I'm doing if you haven't been here before. Here I have a stack of books. Here I am in Eric McLuhan's library, and what I'm doing is an ongoing inventory of Eric's library. 6,000 or so books by my estimate, and I'm several hundred in. I don't have an exact number for you right now. I've been going a little bit all over the place, but right now I'm in this series of great books by Britannica, the Great Books of the Western World, Encyclopedia Britannica, done out of or in conjunction with the University of Chicago. And this is an interesting series of books. So let's get to it. I usually go for about 15 minutes, and I'll describe what I'm doing. So here we go. First thing I do is I'm making a note of the basic bibliographic data, the title of the book, author, year, publishing date. Sorry, I'm just getting out here right now, as I was delayed at home with family things, which is great. It is what it is. This is my one night of the week to do this, so I try to spend as much time as I can out here. So we're on number 11, Euclid, Archimedes, yes, Nicomachus. This has been an interesting series of books so far. As I mentioned in previous videos, one of the books we took a look at was, oh, people are there. You're watching. Thanks, Amanda. Hi there. Quality is really good? Great. Okay. Hopefully I'll be able to upload this to YouTube after. Thanks for tuning in. As I was saying, one of the books we saw earlier in this series was to do with Francis Bacon, and it had a lot of notes in it that really are some of the introductory work to Laws of Media, which is amazing. Dan too. Hey Dan. Cool. Yeah, so anyway, here we are, Euclid, Archimedes, Apollonius of Perga, and Nicomachus. I make a note of the condition, which is pretty solidly good across this set, with one or two exceptions. Encyclopedia Britannica, 1952. The next thing I make a note of is Eric and Marshall often put their names in the book, but they haven't done that in this series, which I think was Marshall's set that Dad took on. It has Dad's notes in it, but it doesn't have his name. And it does have a few annotations. Parallel lines, gnomon. I can't quite make that out. Anyway, so I make a note of the degree of annotation just for further reference, and if there was something striking, I would make a note just so I could come back to it, but there isn't very much here right now, so we're going to keep on, because like I said, I'm getting at it late tonight. So we'll move on to number 12, Great Books of the Western World. This has got to be, I wonder if anybody else does anything like this. If anybody knows if somebody else is like live broadcasting in inventory, I have a feeling I've got a lock on this game, but who knows. Lucretius, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Maynard is the author or general editor. A little discombobulated because it's rushing out here. Chicago, 1952. I have to start checking the dates because I know they published this set over several years, and eventually this is going to be 53, but it's still 1952, University of Chicago. I also mentioned before, but I'll do it again in case people watching haven't seen it. It's been really interesting looking at this set because I found a brochure in one of the books for a 1992 Independent Editors Conference. And I found things with older and more recent dates. And it's been interesting to have the sort of feeling I'm following Eric's reading pattern. He came into this series of books and made his way through it for the better part. Of course, you can't tell if he didn't make any kind of notes, as he hasn't here. So maybe he picked and chose. Oh, well, isn't this nice? Virgil. For those who don't know, Virgil is the name of our second oldest, our youngest, I suppose, child, who is hopefully sleeping at home right now. It was a touchy thing. He did not want to go to bed. I don't blame him. Virgil. It's a hardcover. You might wonder why I'm doing this. I did the same thing for Marshall's library about a decade ago. And it's become for me a valuable resource, and I've had opportunity to call back on it. And I know that when the books did eventually go to the University of Toronto, they're now in the Thomas Fisher Rare Book Library. I know that my work with the inventory formed the basis of their own inventory. Has been a valuable resource over there, so that's cool. This, for me, I learned that I could have done a few things a little more in depth So that's why when I'm making note of the annotation, I'm making a particular note of more common types of annotations, like figure and ground, references to the medium as the message, cliché to archetype. There's a handful, a dozen of fairly common McLuhan annotation references across the libraries. And I wish I had, for Marshall, done that so that I could look up, for instance, M/M, the annotation for medium as the message, and up would pop all the books in his library that had that annotation. Wouldn't that be great? I have a project in mind to do that I'm hoping to talk a class at George Brown College into helping me with. So Luigi, if you're watching this, I still want to do that, and hopefully you do too. I think that'd be a really cool thing. Actually, the idea for the whole project is just to zero in on that one annotation in Marshall McLuhan's library and survey his library just in terms of that one annotation. I think it would be a really cool project. Maybe that's just me. And this does have several notes. 7 Memoria, some things on rhetoric. Nothing crazy, but we'll make note. Next, we're heavy into the Romans down here, or is it Greeks? Romans. Plutarch. The lives of noble Grecians and Romans. So a bit of both there. What number is this? 14. If you are watching this and you haven't yet gone to the McLuhan Institute's YouTube channel and subscribed there, please do. Although we'll see how this goes. Maybe this will be a good way to reach people, because the idea is to reach people who might be interested. The bonus about doing it on YouTube is that I don't have to upload it after. It's already uploaded. And that saves valuable internet bandwidth on my part. Let's see what we've got here. I also wish I could do more than just flip through these books quickly. Maybe in another decade, if the books are all still here, I'll have a chance to go through them. I can almost hear my wife Veronica rolling her eyes. Can I say a note of thanks also to all the people who've signed up on my Patreon, Andrew McLuhan Patreon page, who give me a little monthly donation that really helps offset the cost for things I do around here with the McLuhan Institute. Thank you for that. And in particular, a handful of people have given more significant donations, which which have been helpful and are going toward eventually going non-profit, which is the goal here. And in consideration of that, they will be named founders or co-founders of the McLuhan Institute. So thank you to those generous people. I sincerely appreciate it. This is Tacitus. Let me just finish this one and then we'll do something else. And there's no notes there. Watching Corey, Travis, hey people. Does anybody, this doesn't even give me a time calendar, so I'm not sure how long we've been going. Does anybody have any questions about the library or the McLuhan Institute, or anything I can try to answer. Anything about McLuhan studies that you've always wanted to know but have been afraid to ask? I'll take that as a no. Okay, I'll go grab a couple more books. So I've got this handy, up to 132 subscribers. Thanks, Corey. Amanda, I might forever have questions. No, ask them. I mean, go ahead. If you've got a burning question, have at her. Can anybody tell me how long this has been going? I should maybe made a note. Anyway, I'll do a couple more books here, and then we'll call it. So if you have a question, type it. Amanda. All right. This is kind of, memories. 16, Ptolemy, Copernicus, and Kepler. I said memories because, oh darn it. Sorry, 1 second there. Jeez. Okay, great books. 16. I'll answer my own question there in a second. Good. Yeah, Copernicus is significant because one of the early trips I did with Dad, actually the first really speaking trip I did with Eric, was to Poland, to a place called Lublin, which is the hometown of Copernicus. And they've got several monuments to him there, including a donkey. I forget if I ever knew exactly why Copernicus's donkey is significant, but there you have it. And I think it was Lublin, but maybe it was Torun, one of the two. Anyway, Poland was really cool. Oh, okay. Well, so this is, I think, one of Marshall's annotations. Here we have 1035 keys, harmonies of universe, 789. Let's see. That's going to be a Copernicus, funnily enough, reference. It did say 789, yeah. Sometimes hard to tell what Eric's writing is and what Marshall's is, but maybe it is Dad. It's a little more legible than Marshall's usually is. Keys, harmonies of universe. That's by addition. What are we talking about? Well, the page header chapter is Revolutions of Heavenly Spheres 5. And this is all crazy math, of course. Dad was pretty good with math. Myself, not so much. Anyway, this is a good example why I make a note of things to come back for later when I might have more time. Keys, harmonies of universe, 1035. there's really not enough, but keys of universe. You're all still with me? Corey, oh wait, 16 minutes? Really? Keep going? Okay. Oh, and Steph's there. Hi, Steph. Okay, I'll finish these books, and then that's it. But thank you for being enthusiastic, Amanda. I appreciate that. Gold star. Wow, it's actually nice to feel like there's somebody watching this who is interested. Usually I feel like I'm talking into the void, or like for posterity, you know. But a live audience, how thrilling. Plotinus. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing these names correctly. Probably come off as a total rube, but whatever. I'm not going to pretend like I know, because I don't. 1952. Oops. So if you missed the preamble, I'm in the middle of doing my inventory thing here. I'm hoping I'll find something thrilling for you guys for this time around. But that is the nature of the beast, you know? You never know what you're going to find. It was the cool thing when I was doing... yeah, we have an annotation here. The cool thing when I was doing Marshall's library was a lot of it was in boxes. I think I had 200 boxes I was going through. I feel bad because... What? Aw, don't feel bad. They're all archived on YouTube. Check them out, Amanda. Yeah, the real thrill of doing Marshall's library was that so many of the books were in these boxes, like 200 boxes that had been packed up since Center for Culture and Technology in some cases, since Marshall's home in Witchwood Park in other cases. I mean, Dad had a lot of the ones that he was using here on these shelves, but otherwise they were packed up in the barn next door. So the really cool thing for me anyway was it was literally like opening treasure chests, because you never knew what you were going to come across. And, you know, Marshall's copies of Finnegan's Wake and, you know, various other things that I documented on my Inscriptorium blog were just really interesting. So we don't know what we'll find when we go through this, which is why I'm kind of doing this live thing. It's a bit of a gamble because it's 99% boring, I guess, for most people. But in any case, it's obviously it's a different thing for me because it's my dad. And it's coming up on a year since he died rather suddenly on us. So it's not the easiest task, is it? But it's surprisingly, it's many surprising things. I was going through over there. I had some shelves collapse because of the weight of the Catholic Encyclopedia, which is ironic. I had to jerry-rig a thing to strengthen the shelves, but underneath there was this box of pictures and mementos and things, and in them were some of Dad's report cards from De La Salle High School in Toronto for grade 9 and 10, and I was rather heartened to find that Dad was a very poor student in grade 9 and 10, because I was a very poor student in grade 9 and 10, so that was kind of, you know, he turned things around and it turned out all right, so it's kind of nice to see that he had humble beginnings as well. Oh, thank you, Amanda. That's very sweet of you to say. We're on Augustine, 18. This is also a lot more fun than doing blog posts for me anyway. And, you know, I'm really enjoying the dialogue thing, even if most times I feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay. cool. We've got more happening here. More notes on rhetoric. Where are we? Augustine. So I've got a note here, 349, world is 6,000 years old. What I like to do is track down and see if there's any more to an annotation than just the note. Because oftentimes there's some marginalia to go with it. But yeah, here they've just underlined the number 6,000. As to those who are always asking why man was not created during these countless ages of the infinitely extended past and came into being so lately that, according to Scripture, less than 6,000 years have elapsed since he began to be, I would reply to them regarding the creation of man, blah, blah, blah. And we've got other notes. Plato's approach to Christianity. Oh, that's interesting. Let's have a quick look at that. Also, when I did Marshall's library, spent a little more time going through the books and looking up things, familiarizing myself than I am doing here. 270. Because I had some funding for it, not a lot, but a bit, which was, as I understand, arranged through a guy by the name of Jerry O'Grady, rest in peace, who died recently. And I was hoping to meet up with him, but I never did. Okay, anyway, there's some cool annotations in here. Maybe I'll throw up some pictures of this on the McLuhan Institute Instagram after I let you guys go, unless you can get a little bit of a look on that. There you go. This is still kind of cool. Andrew. Oh, thanks, Corey. Oh, yeah, cheers. I can't read it all. Hopefully, I'm hoping this will save, or I can look at the comments later or something. Because that would be neat. Change that to many. Pretty not all that informative, but I didn't want to just say numbers. Okay, well, this is a good one to end on. Number 19, Great Books of the Western World, brings us to Thomas Aquinas 1. You may or may not know that my father, Eric McLuhan's first name is Thomas, named after Thomas Aquinas, St. Thomas. A lot of the books on that collapsed shelf were Aquinas books, but that's way down at the very, see those crosses up there? Way down at the end there on the other side is the Aquinas stuff, so God knows when I'll get to that, eh? As I said, I'm spending one night a week, and tonight it's going to be like 2 hours maximum because I didn't get out here till 9 o'clock. So it goes slow, especially since I'm taking a little bit of my time. What is this? See, this is cool stuff. Here we have Q Beach Auto Service Limited, a repair to Eric McLuhan, 1995. Well, there's our old number. What the hell car is that? It's a... Oh, is that the Duster? Did they have that in 92? Oh, cool. Yeah, they had a Plymouth Duster automatic standard, which was a lot of fun. This is the safety on it. That's pretty cool. Dad ended up rolling that car when he had a diabetic thing and somehow managed to walk away from it, which is amazing. But we have lots of notes on the other side. Forgive my silence as I'm trying to figure out C, E, G, C, G, C, music notations, bass, tenor, alto, soprano, parallels, bass. Is he trying to do choral against rhetoric divisions? I don't know what that's about. Then on this side we have group voice has to be choric, equals speech, song, dance, golden mean, special form of 4-pattern harmony, synthesis, leader, singing, tenor, baritone, baritone, bass, golden mean, exclamation marks. Who's leader? L-I-E-D-E-R. Somebody must know that, but not me. Today's leader. 2, rap. 3, R secco. Extended meditation, golden mean, connect. 4, speech, song, song, dance. Tech of etym, technology of etymology. Song and dance, synthesis. And this is tucked into Summa Theologica. It's kind of neat stuff. Corey, oh yeah, still with me? Okay. Anyway, that's interesting. Any notes? Saying so, because this is on the back of a bill from 1995, that jives with the other things I've found, so he's making his way through the series. And I want to come back to this because that seems... He's got a reference to Pound here, Ezra Pound. Technology of etymology. So this is why I'm doing the sort of enhanced note of sort of a little bit deeper on the kinds of annotations so that if something comes up I can cross-reference it, or I know where to come back to find this, so I put in some keywords. We've got pound in there. We've got choir, harmonies, golden mean, divisions. That'll hopefully help me find it if I need to again. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this special Facebook Live edition. And hopefully I'll get this up on YouTube. And, oh, hi Amy, and a form of song. Thank you. Hi Amy, bye Amy. Good night guys.